Okay, this is another in the series of sermons of the Native American Church of the Ghost Dancers, www.ghostdancers.org. And today we're here with the Mazatec shamaness Perla Serna, who is a relative, the niece of María Sabina, a famous mazateca from Oaxaca, Huautla de Menos, actually, which is in the northeastern sector, the mountainous sector is a very traditional area of Oaxaca in southern Mexico. And she's an officer and one of the establishing members of the church. Our church is pan-indigenous and international. And she's going to tell you a little about María Sabina and her Mazatec origins and their traditions now. Please, Perla.
Yo soy una mujer mazateca. Mis orígenes son mazatecos, mis padres, mi madre. Yo vengo de la descendencia de María Sabina. Soy una persona que he estado en las ceremonias y he hecho ceremonias.
¿Qué clase de ceremonias de María Sabina? ¿De los hongos?
Sí. Sabina tenía el don de poder cantar, de su palabra, su voz, tenía poder para sacar algún daño, algún mal que tuviera una persona, alguna enfermedad.
¿Quién es el padre y la madre el padre de la madre de Sabina?
María Sabina fue hija de Crisanto y de Feliciano, y María Concepción del río Santiago.
No, ambos de los mazatecas.
Ambos mazatecos, sí. Su padre de ella murió.
Murió de eso.
Sí.
Por el curso o el maldito del trueno.
Por el dios del trueno.
Dios de
sí.
trueno.
Claro, pues él había dañado accidentalmente por el fuego un campo de maíz que estaba bajo protección del dios del trueno. Pues tal María nació bajo su tutela, aunque su padre debía perder su vida de esta para nacer Sabina.
Exacto.
Sí.
Okay, claro,
sí.
Claro que sí. Ok, pues ahora tiene un sagrado ceremonio para los feathers águilos. Ok, bueno. Chimi, Pithichi, Mishanara Shantri, which is the Holy Topa, Aenaka, Biliahoke, Yuk Mimathima, Ish Fiopalashke. I like to say, some people have asked me about these feathers, and these feathers are registered to us by the Eagle Repository in Colorado. They are eagles that have died in the wild, and legally they have to be sent to the repository in Colorado, and they're authorized to be distributed by the Fish and Wildlife, of which I, as a Native American, have a permit to have these distributed to me for religious and ceremonial purposes. They are very sacred objects. We consider Native Americans for centuries, millennia even, have considered them very sacred ties to the extra-mundane world through the spirit of the eagle. Mm-hmm. Now, Perla does not speak English. She speaks her own native language and Spanish. I speak my native language, Choctaw, and English, and poquito Espanol. So we have to interface through Spanish. What essentially she has spoken about is her aunt, María Sabina, who came from Oaxaca, who is a very famous Chotachino, or in Chotatine, in the Mazatec language, or in La Sabia in Spanish, or a wise one or personage. She at an early age, was interactive through her traditions with Los Niños Santos, the sacred mushrooms, which are similar to a spirit that has to do with the spirit of the Native American medicine way. And this is the pillar of wisdom in our church. We have 3 pillars in our church. And so this spirit of Los Hongos, which cannot be effectuated legally here in the United States as of this time, because that's a portion of Native American tradition that is not recognized legally to be practiced. I'll get into more of that later, the legal rights of Native Americans to practice their religions in the past and the present and the future. But in any case, this, through the mechanism in Oaxaca, María Sabina was able to actually open a cosmic doorway and venture in to this grand council of 8, who showed her this book of the sacred law. All great wise men of all the great primordial traditions have seen this book of the sacred law, and it is somewhat filtered or editorialized by their genetic background, the way they interpret it. But having seen that book, your visions, your teachings, these very, very sacred things come forth from that book. And the ancient traditions of the Eastern Hemisphere, the Masoretic text of the Hebrews, or the various very sacred religious texts of the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Quran of Muhammad. They all ventured into that world and were able to see the book of the sacred law. We too are able to do that in a more directive fashion now by virtue of this pillar of wisdom, which is one of the pillars of our church. I'll talk a lot more about these things with Perla as we visit her and the other native indigenous traditions throughout the Americas, in Mexico, and in Los Estados Unidos, in the United States, in Canada, and in the rest of the Americas. Because we are all one people, and we all have one sacred tradition that binds us together. Just like Western Europeans had Christendom, we have a pan-indigenous tradition that binds us together. And we will move forward in a stronger sense as one people and one mind and one spirit. For now, Nitak Falaya, Nanaya Hoshish, Nwashke, walk in peace until the day that shall last forever. Mil gracias para todos, pero gracias para todos.